Mysterious pDAI posts have just come out from our friend Mr. NineIronCapital. I'm going to give you some juicy hot updates right now. This is very interesting. We're going to go through some pDAI stuff. I've got to remind you of something as well, friends. Some quick backstory. NineIronCapital. So this account on Twitter is a very mysterious account. Okay, just so everyone knows. NineIronCapital, remember it's a joke because 9-iron is like, it means like you're basically retardio and you don't know how to play golf. So it is kind of funny. Like it is, man, it was such a genius name as well. 9-iron-capital, right? Just showing that like, hey, I'm a complete retardio. I'm basically, you know, like using a spoon or using a hockey stick like Happy Gilmore when you're trying to basically play golf, okay? So that's why it's kind of like, you know, it's really in tune with whether pDAI is going to work or not. You know what I mean? Like it could go to zero, it could look complete retarded, but if it works out, it looks like one of those amazing volleyball kicks from a football player, right? 9-iron-capital, friends. I will tell you, he's definitely an insider. Definitely. But like how much of an insider? You know, is he in a secret channel and he speaks to someone and he thinks that channel guy is Richard Hart? Or is he Richard Hart himself? Or is he just fed information from another group of people or one person? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe he found the communication channel. Maybe he was the first person to crack a code on chain, you know? You never know, friends, like Richard could do something like that where he's like, hey, I'm going to leave a code. It's a hash thing. Anyone finds this, it's just going to be a Telegram group. So I know anybody who joins this Telegram group had kind of cracked the code. Maybe 9-iron did. I'm just giving you examples of different things that could happen in this story twist. But let's continue. So I'm going to show you some tweets here from Mr. 9-iron-capital. But first, of course, a reminder, PulseChain's not doing much. All right, we're waiting for the crypto cycle and everything to continue. pDAI is like still, it's below 1 cent. It's like 3x to 1 cent now. That's because Pulse PLS Spear, that's right, not the spare, the Spear has gone down and everything's bonded to it. This is the pDAI price chart. So it's hanging around here. I know it's so painful for like the whole crypto industry, man. We just want some sort of resolution to happen. We look at it now. How far away to $1 is this? What is it, like 270x? Hopefully hits there. Don't know if it hits there. Okay, so not financial advice. Of course, could go to zero for the third time. So let's read his tweets. Okay, his first tweet. There are many Trinities in PulseChain. They include pDAI to pUSDC and pUSDT. Now, you remember for these friends, this is the P tokens, right? He also says there is a Pulse, Wrapped Pulse, and Wrapped Ethereum. And he also has another Trinity, Pulse, Layer 2, Ethereum. Stay focused out there, friends. Unwinding the fork would require breaking a Trinity. Time to revisit our early threads. pDAI to $1 is inevitable. So he leaves this comment and then people say, we don't know what the hell you're talking about. And then he kind of explains a bit more. Okay, now remember, friends, we did conquer Maria and those sweet glittery underpants. Okay, so we are armed with a lot of things which can help us along the way. Do you remember, friends, we also had Catty? Catty comes out of nowhere. Catty, we got a sorcery ring, if I can find it. A sorcery ring, which we have right here. Remember, she dropped the sorcery ring, friends. Gave us some mana, special bonus points, special abilities. Okay, now all these characters, they come, they do something, and they just disappear. And everyone in the pDAI community, we're just sitting here like, what happened to that person? Well, they just come out, they just do their thing, and they go away, and then like the story kind of progresses. That's why it's like really does feel like a movie. Now, this is interesting. the Trinities, okay, because there's always been like a rumor, a theme, a meme that if pDAI hits $1, then pUSDC and pUSDT will hit $1. We already saw some interesting stuff, which I luckily have the pictures here as well. So they've already we saw pUSDC. This is how we kind of get clues on there. We saw them peg pUSDC to pDAI. See this period of time? They actually pegged it. Look at this. They pegged it through this magic. Look at this. You just played it $1, but then it unpegged. It went all the way down, okay? It's at 0.58 now. But this was almost like, look at this. It just happened instantly. Look at this instant peg. Just bang, 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 bang. Look at this. Just sat here. And then they just unpeg it. It's almost like, friends, it's almost like it's a breathing dragon of sorts. It's just showing you that it's still alive, that this thing is something these things are possible. And like, you gotta think about from their perspective, and I've shown you this many times. This is like, hey, we're leaving clues out there for believers so you can see a bit of things, right? You don't need to see anything, right? You don't need to see everything, but this is kind of like just giving you hints along the way. Like this thing is real, not to doubt and stuff. But it could be, could be totally just fugazi and going to zero. But it's something just to keep in the back of your mind, okay? Also, always people say, why don't they just come out and tell us and make it obvious? I don't know, bro, because a lot of you just weak-hand cucks. I don't know, man. I didn't write the story. Go ask J.R. Tolkien why Frodo, why couldn't Frodo just hop on a skateboard and just like go straight to the volcano and drop the ring off? Why does he have to go on some adventure and go and think, I don't know, bro. Go ask the movie creator why he wrote it that way. I don't know. Okay, I'm just here for the ride. So the other Trinity, friends, Pulse, wrapped Ethereum. So that's another like mystical thing where remember Ethereum, PulseChain's a fork of Ethereum. So and then there is a wrapped Pulse. So just to let you know, friends, the gas token you have, you know how you have Ethereum? Ethereum is the actual gas. It doesn't have a smart contract capability. To use it in a smart contract, you have to turn it into WETH, wrapped Ethereum. Now it can be able to do stuff, right? That's why everything is like pooled with WETH. And so it's the same thing with Pulse. You have Pulse, you have wrapped Pulse. And then you also have their wrapped Ethereum. More mystical stuff out here because they move back and forth. It doesn't cost anything, I think, to do it. But yeah, I'm not sure the magical, mystical stuff out here, but that's probably for the better. And he's also revealed this Trinity, Pulse, Layer 2, and Ethereum. So what I mean by Trinity, friends, think about how, like, I've heard some, chats and stuff in some chat rooms. So think about the Trinity is literally in Christianity, there's the Holy Spirit, where basically they go, hey, there's three parts, but they're one. You know what I mean? Let's just say they're three parts. You can see three parts, but they're one. So they're all connected. They're all the same. They're just individual in this moment of time, but they're also one, okay? So it's the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, okay? So think about this Trinity, Also, Vince, it's also crazy, right? In the Matrix, you have literally a character called Trinity, right? Which is, and they definitely chose that, okay? They definitely chose that for these words out here, because I think Neo's friends meant to represent Jesus. She's probably meant to be like the combination of Jesus she's like the glue, right? Maybe, or like the connector that connects Neo, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. She like connects them all. I'm sure there's all these like, the hidden meanings and stuff out there if we were to rewatch the movie. Now, Sir Nathaniel, the dog, not the cat, not the turtle, not the squirrel, the dog, going back to this post, do you think breaking a Trinity would take the form of another cataclysmic event on PulseChain? The Phoenix rises from the ashes, the PulseChain mainnet activates. So Nathaniel, his cute little woof woofs, woof woof woof. Mr. Nathaniel is basically, because when you see give you more inside info, friendship. So NineIronCapital, right before we went down to zero, okay? So we know this because we were here, okay? It's kind of like, friends, I'm talking to you about seeing a UFO with my own eyes. Do you know, friends, when this happened? When this happened down here, right? Or the Richard Hart FUD thing, okay? When that happened, before NineIronCapital was just in the chat, and all he wrote was, they are about to collapse the pools, ... That's all he wrote. And we're like, oh man, we're so cute. We go, do you mean collapse in a good way? Because I don't know how something can collapse in a good way. Shortly after that, Maria, whose underpants we have, Maria comes out. He mints the tokens, and then he severs the tie between pDAI and Tropa, and then you have the pDAI cuckening, where we got absolutely sent to zero, okay? So NineIronCapital was foreshadowing that. That's why we're like watching, and we're like, collapse, that doesn't sound good. So this is why it's Mr. Nathaniel was there with us. That's why he's saying, when he read Unwinding the Fork would require breaking a Trinity. So if 99 used the word break, we're like, oh my gosh, just keep sweating. We're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen, okay? So that's the context of what's happening. Let's continue. Mr. NineIronCapital replies, and he says, no. So as soon as I read that, I was like, Okay, we're not going to go to 0 for 9th time. Okay. He goes, it doesn't have to be cataclysmic. It just needs to set off a system-wide lending pool liquidation. Breaking one of the Trinities will do that. Okay, so as soon as I read that again, I start to panic again. My heart rate goes up. I go, oh my gosh, I'm going to need a Xanny to calm me down or something. Please help me. My heart rate's through the roof. Because you don't want to see... after that day, we're so traumatized. You do not want to see NineIronCapital use the word break in a sentence, okay? And Cataclysm. Friends, you ever play oh my gosh, World of Warcraft Cataclysm? Okay, that was, it's kind of when the game was kind of like downtrending in views. But yeah, Cataclysm, friends, was literally, it's literally the whole world of World of Warcraft just start, oh man, comets just start flying out of the sky. There's hell on earth. Everything explodes. Earthquakes. It's literally a full-on cataclysm. It's like the whole game's called Cataclysm. All the dragons come out. Oh my gosh. It's just, you know what I mean? Just, it's all game over. Oh boy. Yeah, Cataclysm, right? So, an end of world cataclysm, right? So, it's, oh gosh. So, you just don't want to see NineIronCapital with his 99 golf club saying, yeah, Cataclysm. You know what I mean? Nathaniel says, how would a system-wide lending pool liquidation affect the chain? PulseChain. I'm assuming it would trigger some kind of domino effect. Do you have a basic understanding of what the dominoes are and what it all leads to when they fall? Good question. So he's saying, hey, you said it's going to trigger something, then there's a domino effect. What basically is asking, so what is actually going to trigger? Where are we going to go to? What actually happens? And then he drops a hint. Remember, friends, a lot of 99Capital, he doesn't reply to most stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it's the narrator. We're allowed to learn the next phase. But that's pretty much what it is. You know, it's kind of like I'll show you, like Frodo looking up the mountain. Okay, I just want to show you in Lord of the Rings. Okay, right here. You see here? See how they're foreshadowing? You're gonna go to the eye. You're gonna go to the eye. You see that, Mr. Frodo? Mr. Frodo. Do you see, friends, out in the valley? That's what we're seeing here. You get it? These pictures. Oh, you see that? It's kind of like the creators said, hey, this is where you're going. But the director does it with just a shot. You see? They do it with a shot of friendship, right? So here you are. Yes, my precious. My precious. My precious. Actually, we don't need this. This is my precious. Precious. Okay? The themes are similar. Mr. 99 replies, pCOMP, compound, pAAVE, and pUWU, I don't know what this is, and pBalances and lending pools alone are owed trillions of pDAI. In the event of a forced liquidation, the pulse chain-wide demand for pDAI will be enormous. Every one of those protocols will pay large incentives for Arbitrage Bots to repay this pDAI. Interesting. Let's read that last section again. So he says so basically remember I told you, friends, there's debts. And the debts, trillions of pDAI. So he goes, if you force a liquidation, the pulse chain wide demand for the pDAI will be enormous. So there's these systems. So basically, friends, remember I was showing you the pulse chain. I'm so glad. Aren't you glad? I'm literally here. I'm literally here 18 hours a day. And luckily, I know how to use the Twitter search function, so I can find all my posts here. I've shown you Pulse Chain Pioneers and all the stuff they've done. That's why I made this graphical post to give you an idea of what it looks like right here. See, Pulse Chain Pioneers. I have pDAI in the middle. See all these little lines connecting all these out? And this was the pUSDC to pDAI. And I've written here, Richard, it wasn't me. You see? So I put these pictures together to give you an idea of... You gotta basically see this stuff on it. See this stuff? So this weird thingamajiggy, friends? Like, it's literally just looking at the matrix code, right? Like, all this up, down, mint, up, down, jug, prosthetic penis. I don't know what these words are. Look, it's called the actual suck. Look at this. This thing's called pot. It's got the suck and then the move. It's actually said, I'm reading words out here. It's literally out here. You know what I mean? So, gosh. Yeah, so they use these different words. It's from the MakerDAO system and how everything works out. Okay, so you get an idea of like there's these things on chain. That's why, friends. That's why all this stuff's on chain. It's not theory. They're all on chain. Okay, and that's why people who they're sidelined from pDAI, they're not even looking at the chain at all. A lot of people see this. Most of the people see this and they say it's totally random. Okay, but all of us who would believe, we're like, this doesn't look random, man. This looks like someone's trying to build something really, really big. And it's all the contracts are pointing to pDAI 1 DOF. That's also why, friends, there were like these tests. We had Maddie Allen's good pDAI on these other ones where people say, oh, but any coin can be pDAI. We could just go peg that. Go, no. You're not the blockchain one, dude. The blockchain one, or everything's pointing to 1D0F, the actual, there's only one pDAI. All these others are just tickers that have a logo and they're dressed up, but they're not actually it. It's just like you can make a token called Bitcoin, but you're not the Bitcoin network, are you? The one that Michael Saylor actually holds. That network, okay? You don't actually hold that. So he's saying every one of the protocols will pay a large incentive for Arbitrage Bots to repay the pDAI. Wow. So if someone loads funds into them, I wonder, now that they're incentivized, are they going to go and then basically be paid to arbitrage the pDAI because they're getting a reward for it? He's showing that that's basically, so we don't know what this system is. It's still hidden, but he's pointing, I guess, in the right direction, friends. We're looking around. That's pretty much what it's the direction we're going, you know? So if someone that's why it's always like, but then why isn't pDAI at $1 yet or 50 cents? It's because everyone's saying, okay, bozo, where's the funds? Who's going to actually put the incentives out? We don't know. That's all we kind of hope one day. It sounds stupid, but, you know, just funds start appearing out of nowhere and they kind of like hint that they're going to be moving into these vaults. Okay. It's kind of like, friends, I'll give you an example. If you had Tether on PulseChain, USDT, and you have Tether on Ethereum, imagine there was like a mechanism where you put like money in a vault and basically bots, whenever they would arbitrage between the change, they get paid like a fee from your fund. So you're paying bots to sit there and close the gap because they get rewarded for doing their job. Yeah. So I'm guessing that's something what he's kind of like assuming. Shout out to Crypto Bernie. So Crypto Bernie replies again, a large incentive of what? Protocol tokens? Pulse? So he's asking, okay, the funds that we're talking about, are they going to put in Pulse tokens? Is it going to be what? Remember, the origin address has a lot of tokens as well. They can do anything. But NineIron says liquidation fees. Every protocol's different. Some pay a portion of the liquidated assets. Some pay ownership within a pool. Interesting. So some protocols you will get. So if you arbitrage something, they give you a fee from closing the gap. And others pay you in a separate pool of everything put out. So you can see that there's grander things being built here. Sir Nathaniel the DAO, unwinding a fork. This is new language to me. What do you mean? It is new language to all of us. And then Mr. NineIronCapital says, the fork had an order in which it unfolded, an order in which the origin address bags were distributed. Unwinding that would mean retracing and or unwinding the steps. Okay. And then Sir Nathaniel, what you're telling me is that we are unwinding the fork. So remember, PulseChain's a fork of Ethereum. And I guess you're saying there's certain steps that had to happen for the fork to happen. Right? And then I guess Mr. 99 is saying, well, if you unwind a few of them, something breaks. The Trinity, but we don't like using the word breaker, so we'll see. So he replies again here. Just thinking through the clues, the term of phase the fork unwinds means a lot to me, as I have looked at these thousands of transactions one by one over and over again. There was an order on launch. Reversing this is something we have explored before. And then, friends, we have these complicated mathematical code. R1 round. We have 2 D's nuts, 3 bell ends, and H, right? For hairy nuts here, I guess. Some sort of formula. I think they're speaking German here, friends. If you're familiar with German, you know how to add these pizzas and apples, please let me know. So the fork unwinds, the echo speaks, the constants are known. It's a mathematical formula. I don't know how to solve any of these, friends. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, I barely know how to wipe my own bum. You all know that. But that's basically just what it leaves us with. Leaves us these clues. So what can you actually get out of that? Well, it's what I've shown you. You know the Frodo? He's sitting on the mound and he's looking at them. That's pretty much is the director saying, hey, look what's off in the distance. It's like the next scene. We're foreshadowing that there's a mechanism we haven't seen before. There's this trinity of bonding. If we unwind a few things, basically switch gets flipped. These protocols, they start providing an incentive to keep pDAI $1. So remember, if pDAI is $1, friends, it has to work through this mechanism where it's in every fiber of the being of the chain. And then we can have the Hyperloop pump and PulseChain can go 100x. And hopefully it flips Solana, flips everything. Hopefully it flips Cardano 40x away. So we're still going in our journey. We've seen a lot of these things out here. I'm still a believer, friends. Yeah, I'm still a believer. I'm just holding. You know, a lot of people always say, hey, we want more concrete stuff. Why can't we know? I don't know, dude. Sell and leave. I don't want to hear you whinging, bro. I don't know. Okay. If I was trying to convince you to hold Bitcoin at $200, I don't have the answer for how Bitcoin ends up on the balance sheet of BlackRock. I don't have your answer. Okay, so just go suck a fat one and go sell, go cry in someone else's casino. No crying in this casino. I don't care. You know, we don't need just $6. You understand? This idea is bigger than you. It's much bigger. It's like you haven't figured it out now. It like doesn't even need you. So we're all in this together, friends. Let me know what you think. Okay, progress in the story. But yeah, man, it'd be nice if pDAI goes above 1 cent. You know what I mean? Like, subscribe, belly button, or catch you soon.